This is Oscar Bevis for IFL TV. Delighted to be joined by Mr. Frank Ron. Frank, I really appreciate you giving me some of your time. How are we today?
I'm good. How are you, Oscar?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. And you can't not be good when you're looking at the lineup of the guys here. The Magnificent Seven. I just asked if you're Charles Bronson, but you said you're Steve McQueen.
Yeah, not Charlie Bronson, more of a Stevie boy.
We've got to start at the top of the bill. Kind of a co-headline, I guess, for Nick Ball, a WBC final eliminator, and a mouth-watering matchup with Isaac Dubois.
It's a cracking fight. It's for final elimination for the world title, so the winner will be the mandatory and fight for the world title early next year. For Nick Ball, 14-0, it's a big step up fighting a former WBO champion. It's a tough fight, but I believe he has. I think he's got the equipment. I think he's in a position at the moment. He's been on a great roll, certainly in the last 2 years, putting some great performances, and I think this is his time. And I believe he can come through a very tough fight.
Yeah, it's been a brilliant couple of years for Nick Ball. Like you said, he's got that momentum. He's on a brilliant roll, and he is just smashing through people. He's doing it. He's doing it in a devastating manner. I guess you feel like this is kind of the perfect time for that real big fight.
Well, I hope it is. I mean, I hope it is. The thing about Nick is he's got a tremendous work rate, and he's very deceptive. He's not easy to hit. If you watch him, he's in and he's out. He gets in and out very quickly, and I can think he can be a frustrating fighter to fight. I mean, he's not like he's not a tall guy. He's a small guy as far as height's concerned, and I'm hoping and I believe he'll give Isaac a lot of problems. Who's a seasoned performer.
Yeah, I mean, ex-world champion, obviously he's got the credentials, but I just feel like this is a fight that can't disappoint. Perhaps an easier fight to make, or I guess an easy one to make. Denzel and Nathan, both Queensbury fighters, and another brilliant matchup.
So it's a cracking fight. Nathan, I think he's 17-0 now. He's won all these fights. I think as his career's progressed, he's become a much better fighter. We were looking to do a big fight for him, or do this title fight at Stoke City Football Ground over the summer, but they couldn't do it because they had work going on there, and they're not sure even if we can do anything there next year, which will be after the finish of the season. So we decided to put the fight on, get it on. His ambition was he wanted to win a British title, so we delivered for him. And with Denzel, who's even though he came away from that loss in that world title fight, I thought he was very unlucky. He got his tactics right in the first 4 rounds. I think he'd have been the champion. But I look at that and I think to myself, what a quality fighter he is. It's just going to be a decent fight. It's going to be a keenly fought contest. The atmosphere is going to be unbelievable with Nathan's army of supporters that he brings. And they are, without a doubt, the two gentlemen of British boxing. They're both lovely guys. They're really nice guys. But I think it's going to be a cracking fight.
Yeah, they do conduct themselves brilliantly. No silliness, no bag language, no tables. In terms of Denzel, I said this to him, you kind of can't really escape the name Hamza Shiraz. It is one of the biggest fights in British boxing now. I know it's being built. I know you're going to get it at the Hamza and Liam press conference as well. But I suppose it's a good thing, the fact you can't keep their names apart, because it is, I guess, brewing towards a ridiculously big fight.
Well, provided they both win. I mean, who knows what's going to happen. Whatever happens, those 4 guys are involved in 2 really brilliant fights, and the winners fighting each other is going to be something special, and the losers maybe fighting each other as well will be something special.
Yeah, brilliant. Just one more from the card, so we can't go through the whole thing. Echo Esman and Harry Scarf, a little bit tasty up there. I can expect fireworks in the ring then.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of needle there, isn't there? Besides being for the British and Commonwealth, I think it's also going to be for who's got the bragging rights in the Midlands. There's no doubt about that. It's going to be a cracker of a fight, no doubt about that.
Yeah, cannot wait for November the 18th. Frank, you must be over the moon. I know we haven't spoken to you since Fury-Usyk signed. We've all seen the poster. The smile on your face says it all.
Yeah, I'm delighted. It's signed. I don't think we wanted it. It's only out there because the contracts had to be lodged, and the reason it came out before Tyson's fight on the 28th against Ngannou was because once the contracts are lodged, it would have been leaked and it would have been out there. So, that wasn't to be for us. But look, it's signed, and Tyson's got more pressure on him now in this fight coming up on the 28th. He's in with a guy who's got nothing to lose. He's got everything to gain and nothing to lose. I think it's going to be a interesting fight in as much. Excuse me. I think it's going to be a shootout. I can't see, as I've said quite a few times now, I can't see Ngannou outboxing him. I think, especially he's being trained by Mike Tyson at the moment, and the way he's an offensive fighter and an offensive trainer. So I think he's going to be throwing the bombs that he can throw. We know he's a massive puncher. He's shown that in UFC, in the cage, our octagon, whatever they call it, and he's also, he's a rough and tough guy. So he's going to try and put Tyson out of his stride. And I don't think Tyson's going to get up on his toes and dance around, because Tyson's not been doing that in his last few fights, and fighting the hardest punching heavyweight of the last 40, 50 years in Deontay Wilder. He showed that. He stood and traded with him. So I think it's going to be a shootout. It'll be exciting whilst it lasts.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And the promo for that fight has been absolutely fantastic. 151 million on Twitter.
What did I say to you? When we announced it, I said this is going to be a massive, massive, massive event. Well, you can add a few more massives on it now, because this is huge. This is a huge event. And let me tell you, there's a lot more of good promos and stuff to come out. This is going to be fabulous.
For the naysayers about the Fury-Usyk signing, kind of the why should we believe it, we're yet to have a date, etc., I guess you can guarantee that there'll be no disruption, and that no matter how long it takes, say even if Fury is cutting the Ngannou fight, no matter what the timeline is, there's no disruption. Fury and Usyk will step in the ring together.
It's signed and the contracts are lodged. That's it.
Is it an announcement to perhaps alleviate some IBF pressure as well, like a kind of tactically?
Well, look, IBF would have notified Hrgovic that they were going for the unification. Then you'd have had Hrgovic's team announcing what we've done. So we can't have that. We've got to be in control of our own destiny.
I'm sure you would have heard Eddie say that you're no longer supporting Daniel, obviously, in his cause to get the rematch with Alexander Usyk.
Well, he's always got something to say, hasn't he? I mean, we've written to the WBA today telling them that we want to. He's always got some snide comment to make as regarding what, trying to cause. I don't even want to do it. All he needs to do is worry about how he's going to deliver to AJ. What's he going to deliver to AJ and the fans? That's all he needs. Stop worrying about what we're doing. I keep telling him, go and do your own thing. We're getting on and putting some great shows together. Look at this. 7 title fights on, world title fight, European title fight, final eliminator for a world title, British and Commonwealth title fights. It's a great night's boxing. This is fabulous nights, real good quality boxing. These are the type of fights that the builders want to see. This is what it's all about. That's why we're making them.
Do you feel like Fury-Usyk is perhaps a bit of a two fingers from your side as well?
Say that again?
It's kind of a bit of a two fingers to some people as well from your side.
We don't do that. We're not interested in that. We just get on and do it and deliver. That's all that we're interested in doing. The fighters that we're involved with want to fight. They want to make the big fights that matter. And that's where we are. Tyson Fury, all he's ever wanted is big fights. That's all he's craved for. That's all he's wanted. And it's unfortunate some didn't happen, but they weren't down to him.
So this fight, obviously, Usyk made the move, the skills challenge, which didn't pay off in the end. No.
It didn't. We got no offers. It didn't.
So it's always been Tyson who wants this fight.
Well, he couldn't make it any clearer. We even tried to get it on in the UK, and they went off and signed for skills challenge. That's what they did.
Is there a rematch clause, perhaps a both-way rematch clause in this fight?
I'm not going into that at the moment. Let's get the fight on first of all.
Can I ask why if there's a reason as to why you don't want to go into too much of the details surrounding the fight yet, or if there are even details that we may hear of in the end? Or
Tyson's got to get through this fight on the 28th, and I think it's disrespectful to Ngannou to keep banging on about it. Let's get that one out of the way first of all.
Where does that announcement leave Daniel?
The WBA, and we've written to him again. Our lawyers written to him today, asking them we need to know when they're going to have this hearing. We've not even had an acknowledgement. They've had the complaint.
Are you expecting things to take a bit of time with this?
WBA, yeah, I am. I do expect it to happen. But look, it is what it is, and I don't think they've got any option than to put Daniel into a rematch or in a number one spot, because he was robbed by that referee. There's no doubt about that.
Just one more thing, obviously, you kind of sold, and we've been sold, and we know what's going to happen on October the 28th. But I guess the Fury-Usyk signing kind of adds a little bit of extra excitement now. There's perhaps the jeopardy of Tyson having to wait for the Usyk fight, and it's already a big event, but I guess the signing of Fury-Usyk just makes October the 28th that little bit bigger.
Well, listen, it is a big event. You just said 152 million people have watched the promo.
That was 2 days ago, so...
It's in 2 days. That's around the world. So can you imagine how many eyeballs are going to be watching it on the night? It's going to be, as I've said from day one, the biggest event I've ever been involved with. This is a pure, massive event. It's going to be absolutely magnificent event.